He's moving fast. He's moving as fast as possible. So watch him.
Yes, start. Come here. Yeah, get close. Get close. Yeah, close.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Seventh Adventist Church Lagos Mainland Conference. We just had our opening ceremony, and right now we are going into the hall. Over 1,000 campers had an opening ceremony today, and we had a lot of visitors. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being part, and we'll see you at the hall. Thank you. God bless you.
The vlog since when they chat. Serious. No, not just the chat. Since when?
Was it even charging? Did you make sure to charge?
Yes, no. I wish I would not see 98 since when they had it.
Oh, I don't know. Yes, sir. I'm not saying at all. Okay.
Fine, it's quick.
Yeah, baby. Where you go since now? And they come back.
That's why the current director of Olympic Great. Good. So,
Thank you, this is for recognize for this continue on the program, I think Amen. You all go for Christ in Jesus' name. I want to welcome all of us to this wonderful everybody. About more working on the time, I want to invite the African President of the conference as we welcome us to this webinar. Pastor, which will be placed in the order. Let's go. Hey, why? Hey, why? Hey, why? Hey, why? Now we settle down and have a question. This is the will of God. Please have a problem to settle down. Everybody settle down. If you can hear me, raise your hand. Can hear me. If you can hear me, you can hear me. Okay, now thank you. I have your pleasure to welcome you to the Good Conference for the Lagos Conference in 2022. Before I go ahead to read my short address, I want to congratulate in a very special way Youth Director of Lagos Conference and his team for putting on such a wonderful program for the youth development as well. I pray that all government will bless you and your team and everybody in the kingdom. I want to appreciate the pastor of the everybody. And I want to thank you that we will go from gold to this. And I empower the associate, the captain, and the leadership of this camp to make sure that there will be no disruption in this camp. Everybody must obey and align himself on accepting rules and regulations like this camp. I am very so glad by the team, by the parade, But the bad men and women are appreciated all. The Lord bless you and keep you in Jesus' name. I welcome you to the Lagos State Corporation Conference for this year, to holding here at both sides of the Secondary School at Gabriel. Starting from yesterday, all to today, to Sunday, September 2022. As a leadership of the youth ministries as well as the believers, members, movements, and indeed every participant of this year's conference for being part of this program. I am particularly fascinated by your ability live the banner, hold the fort. The word banner can refer to a flag, a seal, a flag star, a signal, or even a photo. In ancient times, banners were enshrined for political symbols of declaration of allegiance to God, to a nation, or an army. While other nations' armies will go into battles with the American flag, the Israelites will go with prosperity and battle. In Exodus chapter 17, verse 15, the Bible records, and Moses built an altar, and called his name, the Lord is my God, which is always translated as the Lord is my God. Here, the Lord will be our God. In Israel, the Lord will be our God. Similarly, in Psalm number 25, the Bible says, we will rejoice in your salvation in the name of our Lord. We will set up our banners. When the Lord fulfill all your petitions as we gather to do things for God in Jesus' name. As soldiers of the cross, we have been called to the Lord of our faith forever in the mighty God, which is Jesus Christ. We have been called to hold the fort. The fort by the enemy is a fortified building or a strategic position. I am reminded of a line in which people written by George W. Stanford who said, if all the royal it does not suffer loss. Yes, we are to lift up the royal banner and defend the fort against the rebellion of warfare, against the rebellion of sexual immorality, corrupt and academic instability of war, mental slavery, ritual apathy, supreme law of order, materiality, just for the government of the freedom of the country that strive to subject us. As youth, in the particularly conference, and as young people, redeemed by the blood of the Lamb, we have been called to defend our spiritual heritage and privileges against the attack of the Lord as guide to reshape and Lord has not God to be in this time, ladies and gentlemen, of peace conflicts. We must learn to take spiritual responsibility for our position and the churches we read. Today, I urge you to be strong and courageous. I charge you to strengthen and encourage one another in the Lord as to congregate in this ground for this program for this week. The word and action uphold and live the truth of God's word. Put in your best, lift the balance, hold the fort, persevere, maintain your position, remain on your spirituality. Soon, the creator of the universe, the chief shepherd, will come and reward you quality. He will reward you. Once again, on behalf of the administration of the other officers and the I congratulate you on this position of the 2022 Congress. I appreciate the men of the federal government that are here and everybody the pastors that are here. And I say that the Lord grateful His grace to live the government and hold the Lord in this process. According to the me as the advocate of the country, I hereby officially declare this country to propose in the name of God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. Thank you very much. I want to leave this video to hospital the new director to come and give us a speech. While the second commander of the real safety will be better prepared for his own speech. The new director. Hey, why?
Bro.
Hey, why? Okay, I want to do this program. When I say live banner, I say oh God. Is that correct? Lift the banner. I do it again. Lift the banner. Right. But I want to thank God for the prayer that all to be a part of this wonderful program. And I need to say that anywhere the young people see in the congregation where the talk spirituality. I give God glory that the program being set up. All time at the second of they are giving our program. And at the time when we are about to start the program, all of that we will not take place. Or probably we will just have a talk of the community. We want to thank the president, the treasurer, thank you so much for your support. We are not going to take it for granted. I want to thank the pastor all the because for us to have a congregation, it is because we are able to prove the young people from the various causes. And we say that your work is not yet completed. Your work is out there in duplicate exactly while they are there. And so when they run to you and talk about the fact of God, this is practically. I know if you carry them out properly, you will not have so much issue to eat. So I'm not talking about eating, but I'm not talking about practically. So young people, if there's any need that you have of challenge, please meet your purpose. And that is why they are come down with us. Are we together? Are we together? Lift the banner. All right, so I'm not going to for us. Planning committee. The council planning committee. I got FCMB the past. Planning committee, planning committee. That's very wrong. All right. They will cut some money. Children, after young people, what is the tool? It needs help. That the fact that I'm allowed to come here once again. And we know by the grace of God that we will do everything within our capacity to maintain the standard of raise the bar. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with me? Do you know? Do you agree with me? invited them from crowded talk. We appreciate you for being around. You have been a moral platform. I pray that you will excel in the area of being in Jesus' name. All right. Dear prophet, glory of God, I prepare welcome you to this lecture of the congregation of the young people of Legendary Conference, Seventh Adventist Church. This is our second time we're talking about the old time association school, and it's coming to be an exciting time with the Lord. This year's theme of both Papaya and Freedom Youth is live desire. The people have been carefully selected to special consideration for the spiritual growth of the attendees. In the paper, we are focused on empowerment, which is knowledgeable, but the need of the talk today, which we cannot shy away from, is making deliberate effort to address the spiritual needs of the young people at this time. And I encourage us to be ready so we can get our lives to God. And you be very ready to participate in God. But standing those challenges are all in our mind. I want to give you an assurance today that you shall not return home empty, but you shall return home refreshed and fulfilled. Let me get that. Meanwhile, I want to the law of authority for finance and do no more as senior. We also want to raise our child to raise God above our country. And together, I hope to get to it. I want to tell the management of the school for allowing us to stay here once again. And I pray that our relationship with you will not turn down. Better time to the community, better time to the doctor of our parents, better time for the name of Lord that have done, and also for all the cabinet. I also want to say a big welcome to you. And I want you to have the time enough. We are all coming here. And at the end of the time, I can assure you that we will receive here. And later, conference, you the captains will flourish in Jesus' name. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. The same order, I want to invite the sector commander of road safety for Balakabo sector. Please, you are welcome, sir. And after that, the vice staff of the school will come and address us. Thank you very much. AY. Thank you very much. I want to appreciate the coordinator of this program, and I want to appreciate everyone here present for taking time to participate in this camp. One of the best periods in any man's life is the teenage and youthful years. The society will have come down better if many youths or many teenagers outside have the opportunity that you are having here. I want to tell you, please don't take this opportunity for granted. I went through the programs highlighted for this month, and I felt like switching my age back to the years, so that I can have the time to learn more. There is one thing I want you to do for me. 1, be attentive. 2, be obedient. 3, be actively involved in every activity that people do here. I am telling you, we don't go back to the game. This car will be between Leaf Divider, Old Depot. For me, I am serving this as a major point that as you are there, you are representing your family. You are representing your parents. Make them proud. At the end of this time, let them get back to the organizer and say, thank you for organizing a camp like this. And see a positive change in the life of my son and the life of my daughter. The best time to take charge of one's life is at teenage and youthful years. Ensure you maximally enjoy this program. As the program continues, I wish you all the best. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Sorry, sir, I didn't forget the affiliation given to me. I am not the second commander. Just a representative of the youth commander. Second commander is I'll bring the design. Thank you very much. Thank you. I want to invite the representative of the school, the vice principal, Mr. I think I might have Lord thank you so very much. As I to know banning the control about your whole time I told you from secondary school. And I have the Palawado and Mr. Tuesday in the house with me. Sorry. Every day, we start to learn about Saturday at thank you. I'm going to take that I want to talk to you about the school that is open you. Full time association secondary school. Unassuming and making impact. If you don't have any business to do with the school, chances are you probably never heard of it. It's not a noise maker, but for every child who has passed through the walls of this school, an indelible mark is made. What are the hallmarks of a good school? Cognitive, affective, psychomotor. Cognitive. The level of academics of home science is unbelievably good. Let me just dwell on last year. Last year, the group participated in an essay writing competition. Who called the Nigerian Surveyors essay competition. And this essay competition involved not only students in the secondary school, but also the graduates. The organizers of the program were so shocked when over time we did not only come first, we also came third. And they were so shocked that they decided to pay an unscheduled visit to the school. I said that was not enough. The child came. And then our girl, Ogunjobi Oyoluwa, you probably seen her picture on the television. You probably seen her on the social media. Did the impossible by getting 97 in mathematics, 98 in physics,
and then scoring a total of the mark 351 in crowd. Nigeria was still recovering from the shock when the SSC result came out. HA1, 1B2, the best result in the school. How come? Why are the students so intelligent? There is something that stands us out. Our teachers have been around for a long time. I have been teaching in this school. September 26th, I will be 30 in this school. I have this other one here. He has not stayed too long. How long are you in the last one? 14 years. And then how long are you in the last year? 2 decades and a half. 25. And then that is one of the intelligibles of this system. The teachers are consistent. This other one is one of the basis of the school. Just 14 years. A teacher 20, 25, 20 and above. And the consistency has paid off in the quality of education. In terms of your affective, as students are well behaved, you cannot hear of any scandal involving Old Time Association Secondary School. If the students were on the ground, they will have greeted you till your hair. Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am. And that is how they are there. Psychomotor, you have seen our facility from the football field to the lawn tennis court to the basketball court. There is no dull moment. I can tell you this for free. We participated in about 8 internal sports last academic session. We came second in 2. The remainder we came third, including beating the almighty Osman Secondary School. 4 by 400, 4 by 100 meters. The 3 domains of education are well taken care of women. And then because it's not a small, for a new school, there is doors to show. Everywhere you go, you see an ex-student of this school making way. Is it the law, the legal department? Is it medicine? Is it information technology? I'm going to close on this note. The owner of Naira, Shewa, is an alumni of Old Time Association Secondary School. Hold on, please. Banky.u gave us the sound system in our place. Is an alumnus who was the assistant head coach of Old Time Association Secondary School. Please hold on. I want you to think of that over. Who is that? Mr. Easy. He performed on the stage. And from this stage, it became a super brand, a world brand. The Mr. Easy of the world that you know now started way back in JSS1 in Old Science Association Secondary School. Should I tell you about people who are not even working time or wearing get food to the office? People who earn their daily bread by playing football. Many of them play already in Europe. And I'm praying for the day when some of them will start for the national team. Old Time, in her 32 years of existence, has made impact not only to our world, Nigeria, but to the global world. And all we're asking you to do, peradventure you have somebody who is desirous of a quality secondary education. Tell the person to look no further, other than checking out Old Time Association Secondary School. Please will you allow us to please give us some of our flyers as I close. I wouldn't know if I can take 1 or 2 of your questions. before we step out? Question, please. I wouldn't know if you have a question for me. Question. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. This sometimes reminds me of when we went to the second in those days. And unfortunately, we don't have them in more number anymore. How considerate and yes, how considerate are your feet? Because I don't think it will come to that high of you.
All right. What I want to know, how considerate the school fees is. The school fees is not expensive. It's not out of this world. I don't go to Lagos and charge over $1 million per term. No, we don't. We don't even charge 500,000 per term. No, we don't. I cannot tell you something. Right in there, in the kitchen, a cow is slaughtered per week. The school is owned by Home Economics. We don't joke with food. Look at our tummies now. Look at our tummies. We don't joke with food. We feed them very well. And for those who are going to boarding house, it is the first one will be expensive. The first company will be expensive, but subsequently just look for 350 something. For those in day school, 250 something. In exchange for the kind of education. Listen, I forgot to mention it. This hall is designed for our exams. When somebody sits down here, you skip this place, another person sits down here. You cannot cheat. Why acknowledge that? And they gave us an award. An examination malpractice-free school. There is no need to cheat. I have been teaching English language for 30 years. So what do you expect? The mathematics teacher has been doing the same thing for 31 years. How are you? You will break the head. Put the stuff there. You will not need to cheat. Any other question, please? All right. One more time, I appreciate the organizer of this program for allowing us time out. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate it. Want to say thank you for ideas. How the program will be for the blessed God. At the very center to our head. Let's listen to what an announcement for the platform. Thank you for your dollars. Thank you. Okay, please, let's listen to the announcement. Okay, please, let's listen. All partners, please go outside to meet. So I think we will be camped by fire director. While all senior youths will remain in the hall. Let's do that now. All partners. You know you're a partner. All the official partner uniform, but the partner, please use the door on the left hand side and meet the Secretary. All senior youths remain on seats and move forward. Please. All senior youths remain on seats and move forward. All partners, please go outside. By the left hand side to use partner comes direction. All senior youths move forward. Please move forward. Most of is allowed to go to the motion level, please. Also, move forward. Please move forward. That's the second one to people can see you in part studio. Please move forward, please. If you're sitting down, you are not expected to go outside. As we settle down, I want to invite our speaker for the next section. Prevention, creating stress relief, and now the money can also appear. So let's put our hands together as I invite the community to the podium to take the lecture on prevention, creating stress relief. Put your hands together.
I can't hear that thing. So let's start again. A1. I'm coming down, so I can hear something. When I was young, I was 6 years old. I went to my first time. In those days, we used to say A1, double go. A1. Now that was like 84 years ago. So my first time was when I was 6 years old. And I honestly can't even remember where we went. And so when I got here today and I saw everybody on the field, it brought back memories of going to camp with my church elder there. At some point, we went to Danity. And then at some point, we went to Ghana as well. But that was many years ago. My name is Montibola Abiri. And this afternoon, Abiri. Is that me? So this afternoon, I have been asked to come to speak to us about suicide. How many people have heard about suicide?
Or maybe you come here.
How many?
Hello?
Right. So, how many of us have heard of the word suicide? Show by raise of hands. Suicide. How many of us know somebody that has died by suicide? And so when I say we know somebody that has died by suicide, we may not know the person as a friend or as a family member, but we may have heard about the news. So how many of us know someone that has died by suicide in the news? So this is an interactive session, so I'll be speaking to you, I'll be coming to you. Who do you know and how did they die?
The person that I know died because the parents offended him. So the young guy decided to take his life.
That's sad. The parents offended him, and so he decided to take his life. I'm coming to you.
So because like him and his family members, they were having understanding. But none of them was trying to understand it, so he was frustrated. So he just went ahead and hung himself.
Thank you very much. He hung himself. Again, family misunderstanding. I'll come to you. But I don't want to forget the men as well.
The young boy, my son's schoolmate, the mom seized his phone. So he drank sniper.
Thank you very much. A boy or girl? Boy. Man, are we following my conversation? I want us to see something. I want us to see a pattern and a trend. You wanted to say something?
The person I know was my friend's friend. So she was doing POS business. So somebody did big transfer for her. She got frustrated, took poison, and she does that earlier this year.
Thank you very much. How many men have we seen? 3. How many women? 1. We're going somewhere.
The guy, he trained on the secondary school to the university. So the girl came back home after the education, unexpected, and what the guy to and girl and
so who served who breakfast?
On a similar scenario to her, but this one is the girl. She boyfriend broke up with her. Like she never really broke up with her, but she just chose somebody about her and she can't stop her.
Okay.
The parents have so they separated. So nobody cared about nobody cared about the rest of the school. So she decided to have maybe this scenario one.
Thank you. He hung himself. He took sniper. We heard sniper quite a number of times. I'll come to you. Yes.
About one day like that, I be like, you go down 7 times and down. So you also in front of down, not down.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Let's be quiet, please. Let's keep it down. Thank you.
See, the issue of suicide, initially we ask you heard or no. I can say almost everybody here has had a contact or heard something or two about suicide. I don't know with the 2 ladies. One, okay, the first one was pregnant, but because she don't want to keep the child, so the act of trying to keep exactly, so she took her life. Then the other one was to keep a baby, but our parents were, the kind of rejected it and now caused her to go into depression and all, and as a result, took her life. So 2 different scenarios.
Thank you very much. A round of applause to everyone who has been.
Okay, I've actually witnessed 2 cases. The first one was a family man, because of the hardship in the country, he decided to go into the bush because they already think salary is not increasing, everything is just stagnant, and there's no way he will feed his kids. The wife is pregnant again, and he already has 6 children. Where is the money going to come from? So the man entered the bush and found himself. Thank you. The second case was a lady. He dated this guy for like 8 years. I'm not married for 8 years. He never married. Right now. At the end of the day, say you're not doing anything. The girl said, okay, she now left. While the guy was sleeping at night, she entered the room, carried the burnt herself and burnt the guy.
So, can we keep it down? Can we keep it down? One more person wanted to add something there. I'll take that as the last one. Let's see your hands up. They're coming to you.
Actually, an issue. So I think the man was totally broke and had some. So he got in contact with someone who decided to be too sure. So he used like money to take the show. But he didn't know. He had to Jimmy Johnson.
Thank you very much. Please everyone give yourself a round of applause. Let's keep it down. Let's keep it down. We can discuss later. We will have time for questions. But I want us to take a few lessons. Young men, thank you. And some of the lessons I want us to take is that suicide is real. It is not an abomination like most people think. And so like most people, when you say, you hear this person kill himself, and they say, it is not my portion. We reject it. Back to sender. Suicides are happening every day. I want us to do a simple exercise. I want us to count from number 1 to 40. Can we all do that? So on my mark, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Someone, somewhere in the world just died. To suicide. The reason why suicide, let's listen. The reason why suicides are painful is that it is prevented. If you listen to most of the people who have told us stories, somebody knows somebody. Somebody has heard of somebody. Somebody can identify somebody. I get one guy, we get that. Everybody knows someone. And so it's not a taboo anymore. It is happening. Let me give you a personal story. A few years ago, I had this young man, handsome. He was my patient. He was studying to become a professional. His parents were so rich. He had everything, including a Bugatti. He was schooling abroad. He had access to the best foods, to everything that money could buy. But for the past couple of years, he had wanted to die. He just said he was tired of life and he wanted to die. So many times we think that suicide happens because people are poor, because people are broke, because somebody just broke somebody's heart. We think that people want to die because there's nothing to live for anymore. While this can be true, there are also people who seem to have everything. I mean, look at this guy. He had a Bugatti. I don't have a Bugatti. He was schooling abroad. I have never schooled abroad. His parents are rich. I'm sure that my parents are not half as rich as his parents. He had everything that we think that people would want, but it was not enough. And he just said that he wanted to go. There are two international people, Anthony Bourdain. Who knows Anthony Bourdain? If you want to see any travel, you know Anthony Bourdain. He had everything. He could travel everywhere. He had money. There's one other lady, Kate Spade. How many of you know Kate Spade? Fashion designer, international fashion designer, had everything that we think that people want. But two of them killed themselves. Let's come on to Nigeria. A few years ago, there was a story of a man who was a bank manager. And you know bank managers are big boys and what? Girls. And so one day he was broke. I don't know how he became broke. Maybe he gave out loans and he could not recover the loans. And so he went to church. The story made the news. He went to church. He went to make a confession. And as he knelt down to make his confession, what did he do? He brought out a gun and he shot himself. There was a young man who went to the University of Illinois, and I went to. Okay, so there was this young man who went to the University of Illinois, and he seemed to have been doing well until one day he decided to kill himself. Suicide. When you say somebody died by suicide, so we need to first of all get the language right. He did not commit suicide. When you say someone commits suicide, what's that? It's an offense. And so we need to start using the right language. You know, in Lagos State now, if you catch somebody who attempted suicide but did not die, you know what Lagos State does? They will lock him up if the person did not die. But you see, for somebody for somebody to look at themselves and think that the next thing that they owe themselves is to kill themselves, it takes a lot of courage. It's not for cowards. And so day in, day out, in my practice, I see people who come in to meet me and say, "Doctor, I'm tired. I'm tired of life, and I want it to end." It can happen to anybody. It can happen to me. But it hasn't happened to me, that's why I'm here. Why does suicide happen? Suicide happens for different reasons. But what the specialists have found is that underlying every suicide is an undiagnosed mental illness. many people who kill themselves have a mental health problem. See, life can be tough, and life can test us. You can lose a job, you can lose a loved one. People can make fun of you, or you don't know that some people kill themselves because somebody made fun of them. People can make fun of you. Life may not be going like you want it to. But my message to you today is that suicide is never the answer. While suicide may seem like a solution in the short term to one person's problem, what it does is that it continues to create more and more problems for the people left behind. When that my patient died, and is the only one that I have lost, imagine how I felt when I went to see the parents. They kept saying, we gave him everything. He had everything. What else could we have done? Many times, apart from mental illness, the reason why people go on to take their own lives is that they feel hopeless. How many people have felt hopeless here before? It's okay. It's okay to express how you feel. So imagine if you're a young man and you did jam, or like jam or jamming that person 7 times. I can only imagine what they were telling that person at home. You are a failure. You are good for nothing. Wasted investment. Our words can hurt. Our words can push people to think about what they don't want to do. And so that young lady, for instance, to have looked at herself, I'm sure that she just thought that there's nothing in this life. Let me just go. We must know that when there is one suicide in a family, the chance that there will be another suicide is what? Higher or lower? Higher. Because every time that date comes around, the rest of the family remembers that we had somebody many years ago that decided to kill themselves. In Nigeria, the commonest ways, you heard it. What's the commonest way in Nigeria? Sniper. And even though we have talked about it, we try to see how we can get them to control sniper, you can still walk to a pharmacy and get sniper. Some people jump. A few years ago, there was a story of a doctor who parked his car on 3rd Mainland Bridge. And what did he do? He jumped. A few weeks ago, I met a young man who told me that one day he was in the office. He just left his office and he went to the Ikoyi Bridge and he was about to jump when something told him, don't jump. Sometimes the reason why people take their lives is that they hear voices telling them to do what? To take their lives. Sometimes it's because people have a low perception of themselves. You know, every morning when I wake up in the mirror, I think this is something I want to encourage everyone here to do. Look at yourself and tell yourself you are beautiful. Please tell your neighbor you are beautiful. How did your neighbor respond? Yeah, fine. And so every morning, when you wake up, the best reassurance you can give yourself is from yourself. Are we listening? The best reassurance you can give yourself about yourself is from yourself. Life can be people can make fun of you, but you need to be confident and comfortable in your own skin. Let me tell you why this conversation is important for this stage. Does anybody want to guess why? Why am I talking about suicide to you guys? Why? In the middle age, and abroad and even in Nigeria, second commonest cause of death in young people is suicide. In this age and time, I don't know if you heard when somebody said somebody's mother collected phone, and the boy decided to kill himself. So we're talking to your generation. Are we here? Your generation, the generation Z. The generation that wants phones at all times. The generation that wants people to see them and hide them all the time. The generation that does not want to fail exams. I failed exams. And it doesn't remove the fact that today I am a doctor. If I don't tell you, you won't know. You say that maybe I was the top of my class. I mean, but I failed. I passed JAMB once, but to become a special and call me ugly. But what people say about me does not define me. Part of the reason why I'm here today is to talk about how to prevent suicide, because suicide can be prevented. About 10 years ago, I had this patient. She came into my office. I was seeing another patient. The reason I'm telling you stories is so that you understand that these things are real. She came into my office, and my friend from Aro, how many of us know Aro? In Abeokuta, psychiatric hospital. I was working at Yaba then. And my friend called me and said, help me write one medicine for her. Immediately she came in, I just looked at her. And I said, how are you? She looked at me and she said, I am tired and I want it all to end. You see, the person in front of me, I told that person, I said, madam, you are not an emergency. This person is an emergency. I sat with her, talked to her, and we had to call her friend. She didn't write the name of her family members. She didn't even want her family members to know that she was struggling. When you are struggling, please tell your family members. If you don't trust them, or if you don't feel like they are there for you, please speak to a trusted adult. Talk to your pastor, or talk to someone. So we called her friend. And when her friend came in, I said, well, your friend is about to, she said she's tired of what? She wants to die. I let her go home that night, but we signed an agreement that her friend will take care of her. And if there was any problem, who can we hold? Her friend. On that day, around 9 o'clock, are you there? My phone rang. It was her number. A guy picked up the phone. And the guy was shouting, what do you want me to tell her? Who am I talking to? And I said, hello, who is this? The guy said, I'm her boyfriend. I said, what's going on? He said, she has been beating me for the past 1 hour. If you see this girl, small, tiny. And I told the guy, I said, if anything happens to that girl, nobody will believe your story. A few months before then, there was this story about a man who had killed his wife. Although the man kept saying he did not kill her, she killed herself. How can a human being hold a knife and stabbed themselves 70-something times. So that night, they did not call me again. The next morning, they came to the hospital. You know what she had done? She had taken an overdose of her medication. The other thing we need to start noticing, because there are elderly people here as well, is that in this day and time, when adolescents want to die by suicide, what do? They post it on social media. Is that not so? Yes. Nobody loves me, nobody cares. Maybe if I go away, everybody will be all right. They post those messages on social media. And so unless you are paying attention, you may never know. So the next morning, they brought her in, and we had to admit her. To the glory of God, she's still alive today. Yeah. And I know that if she ever thinks back at that time, she's grateful that she did not die. Life may be hard, it may be tough, it may be difficult, but please do not give up. Suicide may seem like a solution, but it is just a quote-unquote solution creating other problems. We need to fight for our lives and fight to stay alive. If we have parents here, and I'm hoping that we can take this lesson back to our churches, please tell parents to love and care for their children. If your children cannot talk to you, they will talk to somebody else. If your children cannot come to meet you and say, Mommy, this is what's going on with me, please don't break my phone. I want to read a message from a child, 14-year-old, that I got 2 days ago. If your children cannot be your best friend, there's a problem. Because what will then happen, thank you, is that they will turn to substances of abuse. I want to share this story before I now tell us how to prevent suicide. This girl is a 14-year-old girl who reached out to me a few days ago. Unfortunately, the parents don't understand that if anything happens. The interesting thing is, this is not the first time this child is reaching out to me. I'm coming, I'll find the message now because it's very instructive. I want us to read the message. Right, I found it. Can you see how long the message is? Can you see? She said, I need your help. So many things have been happening. My parents are just useless in this situation. Like why couldn't I get other parents? She said, every night when I sleep, I am dreaming of knives. She said, the suicide thoughts are coming back every single day. When I sleep, I see butcher knives. The pressure is getting too much. She said, I'm scared to sleep because I don't want to see knives again. They have prayed for me. They have taken me for deliverance, but nothing is getting better. They've done everything. But you know the only thing they haven't done to her? Do you know the only thing they haven't done? They haven't listened to her. So as I end my talk on suicide today, I want to teach us how we can prevent suicide. And I want everyone who has a writing material to write down. Preventing suicide. The 4 L's. Letter L, L for Lagos. And somebody will say L for Lagos. The 4 L's. The first L is that you should learn about suicide. What did I say? What did I say? Learn about it. Because whether you agree to learn or you don't learn, every 40 seconds, what happens? Someone dies. Read about it. Find out what methods people are using. Find out how you can identify suicidal thoughts in people. You know, some people, when they're talking to you, all that they'll say is, I wish I wasn't here. I regret the day I was born. I wish that something would just take me away. Those are suicidal thoughts. In young people, what we are starting to find out nowadays, and it's for the older ones to pay attention, is that young people are beginning to harm themselves. What do? They will take blade, knife, compass, and they will start cutting themselves. Many times they're wearing long sleeves, sweater, so that nobody sees the damage. Sometimes it's on their legs. We need to learn about what young people are doing now to end their own lives. The second L is that we should look out. What did I say? Look out. We must be our brothers and sisters, what? Keepers. And so if your friend is a bubbly person, the person that when he enters the room, the whole room lights up. But you notice that after a while, when he enters the room, what does he do? He's quiet. Unusually, he's keeping to himself. He's not picking up the phone. He's telling you that he's not interested in those usual things. Sometimes it may be that that person is battling a problem, battling debt. Lately, the one that I have heard most, you know, many people are collecting loans. Are you aware? Yes. And when you collect one loan and you don't have a method to pay back, what do you do again? You collect another loan to pay that first one. After that, what do? You collect another loan. Apart from collecting loans, another thing that young people are doing is that they are betting. Ajared, Abi? They want to take number. But what we are finding nowadays is that many of these people are suicidal. They can't pay back. I met a young man last year. He was in debt. He had played betting. And so when I saw him, I said, if you want to calculate how much you have spent betting, how much have you spent? He said about 54 million. I said, let me ask you. How much do you have? How much did he have?
0.
How much did he have?
0.
Nothing. Any investment? No. Any land? No. Any money in the bank? No. In fact, on his way to the hospital, he had 5,000 naira. What did he do? He stopped and he quickly bet. And of course, he didn't catch anything. So let's look out for our friends who are doing desperate things. Let's look out for our young boys and young girls who are trying by all means to make money, to impress other people. Are you with me? Let's look out for our friends and for our loved ones. So that's the second L. What was the first L?
Learn.
What's the second L?
Look out.
Look out. Not just for other people, but for yourself too. It's easy to look at somebody else and say, this person is not doing so well. What about you? We all struggle. And once in a while, you may think that there's nothing in this life safe. Look out for yourself. Once you identify those thoughts, look for somebody to speak to. The third L is to listen. What did I say? What did I say? What did I say? They often say that the reason why God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth is why?
Listen more, talk less.
Hear more, speak less. Listen twice, speak once. We must listen to people when they tell us they are going through a tough time. Let me tell you something. A few months ago, I went through a tough time. And I didn't talk to too many people. Let me tell you why people don't talk to people. When you talk to people, why don't people like to talk to people?
Because issues of trust. Don't trust them. If you tell someone your secret, don't trust them enough to keep it. Oh, you know, it starts spreading up.
They don't keep your secrets. That's number one. Why don't you tell people about your problems? You don't get problem. You're very secretive. Thank you for being honest. Why don't you tell people about your problems? You don't keep secrets. But do you tell people when you have issues? At times, at other times, why don't you tell? Hey, anybody else wants to tell me why they don't share? They don't actively listen. Did you hear that? They don't actively listen. Why don't you tell people?
They castigate you.
They castigate you. And so the reason why people don't tell people about their problems is some of the reasons you heard. People can't keep your secrets. People will share what you have told them. Imagine you speaking to someone and saying, guy, I don't tire of this life. I will say, guy, don't be only you. Say, guy, don't be only you. Nigeria hard. Don't be so. That invalidates what you are saying. The other thing is that when you tell people that, guy, it just be like, say, man, just off myself. The guy will say, which problem you get, Seth? What do? They are making light of your problem. Sometimes some other people will say, now only you. Yesterday now you, today now you, tomorrow now. When you find somebody who sits down with you and says, I want to tell you something. Listen. Listen, because you may never get an opportunity to listen again. And when you listen, you must listen with kindness. What did I say? Kindness. Please write it down. You must listen with compassion. When you listen with kindness, what you are doing is you imagine that you can be in their shoes. See, nobody has a perfect life. Do you agree? The richest man today can become the poorest man tomorrow. It can happen. Tides can change. So listen with kindness, compassion, and the third one, listen in a non-judgmental manner. Don't judge them. Don't castigate them like he said. You know, one day, I noticed that my daughter, she was 8 at the time. She was just very angry. She was fighting with her brother. I said, what's wrong with you? So I said one day, I said, sit down. And I said, I've noticed this. She said, yes. I said, what's going on? She did like this. She said, Mom. I said, yes. She said, I'm under so much stress. The normal response would have been what? What do you know about life? What is stress? Abby? Or to laugh? But you see, the moment you do that, you will lose that person forever. The person will just switch off. And so I said, I'm so sorry to hear that. What is stressing you? It was the time of COVID. You know, that time was a very terrible time. Being locked up, not knowing when you were going to go to school, not seeing your friends. For a small child, it was difficult. And then she said, oh, there are too many people around the house. It was stressing her. I listened to her, and the only reason why I could get more information was because I did not judge her. Let's not judge people when we listen to them. The first L is what? The second L is what? Look out for what? For yourself and for others, for the signs and symptoms. The third L is what? Listen in a kind, compassionate, and non-judgmental manner. And the last thing to do is to link up. Link up. If someone went to, quote unquote, a man of God, and he said, this our child is saying that he wants to kill himself, what is the man of God likely to say? Spiritual. Spiritual is the enemy. Many people don't know what to do or what to say when they are confronted with suicide. Some people say, why is it me that you now came to tell now that you want to kill yourself? Why didn't you tell somebody else? And so if anybody ever volunteers that information to you, I am tired and I want it all to end. You have a duty of care, not to shut them down, not to tell them they don't know what they're saying, not to say that it's a spiritual attack, not to tell them that they don't pray hard enough, but to tell them that you need help and I will get that help for you. So linking up means that you are taking them where? To somebody who can provide that service to them. The person who can provide that service to them is most times a clinical psychologist or a psychiatrist. Have we heard of a psychiatrist before? Have we heard of a psychiatrist before? Have you seen a psychiatrist before? Where? Just now. This is the psychiatrist. This is what we look like. Ladies and gentlemen, please give yourselves a round of applause.
Please, let's put our hands together for Dr. Mbe once more. I think we can all agree that this was a wonderful session. We can all agree on that. I want to believe there are some questions, so there are some concerns within us that we want her to play. Please, if you know you have any questions regarding the suicide business, just see your hands up so I can take a number. And if you know you're not comfortable speaking, just write it down, I'll pick it up. But let me see your hands if you're going to speak. I'm giving numbers. After I give this number, that's all. 1, 2, remember your number, please. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Let's make it 20. 19, 20. All right. So number 1. Okay. Please, let's have a question, please. Sorry.
Right. I had this experience with 2 years ago. She had this heart problem. So we were jam lessons at that time. So we had this other Victoria that nobody usually speak for. So I was passing, then I saw her there. I passed again, I saw her, so I was crying. Then I went to meet her. She was very sick. So she closed the book and put in her mouth. So I was like, why was wrong? She used my hand. So I stayed. She used my leg. Then I came back with the then I was going to the book. And so she was writing, I want to die, I want to die, I want to die. I was like, so she told me, what my question is, how do we, in that situation, I didn't know how to help our voice. Then I kind of make it close to them. Every time I was calling, so how do we help in such a situation?
I guess my question is, mostly we said what the reason for suicide is a basically for people. But suicide also ongoing. You're talking about 4 or 5.
My question is about the direct care that you have. We must be our best. The question is, I find myself in the psychiatric group where caring for one people. My daughter is in the psychiatric group. I find myself to be one of them. And I come to the level where we say we should be our brother's keeper. Those people no matter what they are going to be asking about, how do I take care of them? How do I protect them as a daughter?
Please, can we have it? Please, that is the question. I'm sure you have that is up to you.
My question is, how do we identify who to go to? Because this country is weird. How do you know who to go to? And do we exclude the fact that someone looks as spiritual? Do we exclude the fact that someone looks as spiritual?
7, 6. Sorry, I wanted to jump fast.
Yeah, it is not a question. It's an experience that happens to me. When she mentioned, I want to said, talk to people. Sometimes, get back to respond, or just today, I was living with my brother, and it was married. My brother used to be around, he's a teacher at university. He used to go to work, invite the teacher private school day. So we stay together. I take over baby. It was a day. I was frustrated. She's very active. She's no women now. Because you give it to women. Women know. You will know that with a woman. I was frustrated that night. But I did not talk to my brother. I told myself, I told my brother, I want to start at this marriage. Because by so now, every time I was done, that was the start. But I said, no, I don't want to start at this marriage. I said it for my dad. No, my dad did somewhere else. My sister did it somewhere else. But that night, I was crying. I thought, let me also think about working. I said, no, don't work for me. That might be working. But then I have a friend. Friend is a man. That's what I said. That man said, I want to tell you my friend. Not that a man who has been friends was able to the end reality. It's not simple with me. He's a man. And it's now a youth ministry, my former Sunday church. So I was like, push that to I was so maybe go to this brother. Just I want to talk to him. I want to talk to you. I need somebody to talk to right now. He just tapped me on. What is wrong? Calm down. Tomorrow, let's talk. You know that reply is sent back to me. Just easily. The following day, come back and example that I said, I'm working. Since you replied me. So that explains me. Is a good thing. It's not necessary sometimes you don't have to explain to people. Just tell somebody I want to talk. So that after that body will be. And the moment they said, we'll be able to okay that. But don't bother that I want to talk to me.
Thank you very much, 7. Number 7.
I ask this question for my own friends, my schoolmates. Her name is Precious. This girl was principal at IPA in my class. And then all of a sudden, she just became quiet and she said things to herself. And then I tried to help. I tried to ask her what was going on. Then she was like, she doesn't understand anything that was going on in the class again. And she was like, she was going to grow notes the next minute. And then I told her, okay, she should calm down. We went outside during break. We talked. And then she was like, her dad was telling her she wants to kill herself, doesn't care about her anymore. Her mom was also doing the same thing. And then at the time, she started using blades to cut herself, all her hands, her laps, everywhere. And at the time, I became scared. I went to report to our school counselor though. And when our school counselor called her parents, in the school there, I just started shouting, kill yourself, don't kill yourself, after all, you're useless child, I'll be so you, blah, blah. And then at the time, yeah, my friends took it up. And day after day, I was there talking to her, giving her the attention she didn't have at all. But although now she still has those kind of side effects now, but we try to calm it down. What should we do now in this situation or issue?
Thank you very much for my head.
Okay, mine is an experience, but this time around is someone else's experience. So there is this young lady. I took her as my sister, as a younger sister. Anytime she's seeking for advice about school or anything, she usually comes to me and I talk to her. So this time around is about her relationship. She was in a relationship with a guy. And at the long run, she came back and started complaining that the guy is always, like the guy is violent, he's always beating her up. If they finish fighting here, you see marks all over her body. And when I talked to the guy was like, that she's always nagging. If she asks for something, you don't give her, it becomes a problem. Or you tell her, hold on, she will not agree, that she wants it then. So I now told the girl, since you guys are not compatible, why not drift as in stay away from the relationship? Maybe when you are ready, you can come back, or God will just provide somebody that understands that nagging part, or more better still, you can work on it. I said, okay, for now, you guys can just separate. For the meantime, so I can save yourself. You can't be having scars all over your body or crying out loud. You know what this girl did? She went back to the boyfriend and said, baby, do you know that Ezine said I should leave you? Now, I was just weak. For complete 1 week, this boy never spoke to me. And I was wondering what's going on. And I asked him, he said, oh, so you asked my girl to leave me for what? That I'm mad and this. I said, oh, sorry, no best. I don't come on my hand for anything in relationship matter. After like 1 week, because I usually do some stuff online, I was scrolling through Instagram. Some of us know Instablog now, Instablog Nigeria. I was scrolling through Instablog and I saw a post that somebody fell from a 2-story building. First of all, I saw a Lexus car outside of the whole scenario, and I recognized that it's that guy's car. Then I don't even know how somebody even stood and captured a lady falling down. Like this girl fell, and to my greatest surprise, same girl. I couldn't even do anything. I was shocked. I didn't go to work. I was like, so in this situation now, my question is, I've done my own part by talking to her. At the end of the day, she still committed suicide. What would you have done? I feel so terrible because I felt I should have done more. I should have linked her up, or I should have taken her to a psychiatrist or something. I feel so bad within myself. I don't feel like God has been forgiving me up to now. So what would I have done better? Thank you.
All right, number 9, please can we go straight to our questions? We don't have time. She's supposed to give us another lecture on stress.
What is mentioned talking to someone. So my question is now, like you are in a situation whereby the people talk are very few and very like close to you that they tell you their own problem.
She's fast. She's not connected to me. Come closer.
So they tell you all their problem, what they are facing, and you kind of advise them. But you, when you feel like talking to them, feel like since you already know that they are going through a lot, you don't want to disturb them. What can you do in that situation?
Number 10.
Public it's suicide. And say that whatever people are saying, your mind. I mean, not everybody knows what to forget about what people are saying. And everybody have, some people have no self-esteem. How can we do that self-esteem?
All right, number 11.
Mike.
Okay, my question is, for me, I'm not saying my parents, so I do have depression episodes, like a lot. So, and most time my mom is busy, my mom and dad are very busy. So I don't talk to people like that. I don't want to make friends. I don't want to communicate with people. So please, what's your advice? Like my depression episodes are very, very serious sometimes.
Suicide is an undiagnosed mental illness. Now, one of the leading factors of suicide is depression. And a lot of things that build on before that occurred. Now, when there is an attempt or somebody attempting to commit suicide, why is it that, or why is there a law that those people should take arrested and locked up instead of taking to a psychiatrist or psychotherapist to do appropriate counseling for such kind of people? That's one. Then the second thing, someone that finds solace in his or her family, your parents, and you have a daughter whom you trained for like 2 decades now. Now, you are a celebrity, fine. You make people laugh, fine. Now, you lost your parents, who are the kind of pompous source of joy. That is number one. You tried, and after some while, that passed, and you started your life. Since after you started life, now your brother, your sister left. The years have been 2 years after, and these are the people that will provide joy to you. Despite the fact that you still need other people, but people in your family. Now the pressure is setting in. Your daughter that you have trained for years also died, and you are left alone. What advice? I don't want to write. I want to know what advice you give to such person. And best into as in if there are levels of depression, level 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th level of depression. What kind of advice do you give to such person? Number 14.
Okay. Okay, the question is there a way or a kind of, like call it switching or swapping mentors or let's say friends? Why I ask this question is this. There's a particular girl, her parents are not the listening type, and she doesn't find solace at home. But there's this particular family that gives her a kind of a replaced parent for her. She's always feeling at home when she's there. The father is caring, the kind of care that a father should give, the mother likewise. And this particular night, she just wake up from sleep, a kind of a nightmare. And she ran a distance to that place, knocked at the door, they opened up and like, I can't sleep. I had a nightmare and things like that. They welcomed her overnight. Should I call your parents? They are not, their lines are off. They switch off their phone overnight. You can't call them. And daybreak, I don't want to go back home. I don't want to go to them. I want to stay. I want to be living with you. I don't want my parents again. I prefer you to them and things like that. In this world of insecurity or things like that, is there a way? Because kind of taking them, they just want to tell you that taking me away from this family is just like killing me. Let me remain with them. Is there a way you can swap that child to that parent or make them, because she's like her parents are disgusting, and that is the only place she finds happiness. What can you do? Because you are advised that if you want the best for me, take me to that home. That's it.
Please let it quiet so that we can hear the question, please.
There's something that I've found out that keeps occurring. Sometimes you find yourself in a quagmire you won't be able to. I had an experience when I came to Lagos. This guy was maybe 21, and this little girl was about 9 years. And she was being abused by the young man. Every other person knew except the parents. And she would just roll into the guy's room, spend some time and come out, but the kids knew. And then I got to know. But I couldn't tell her parents. And I couldn't even confront the young man. We find it happening more often. How do we, how do you get the child out of that situation without causing problems for everyone? And then another thing that happens is this. Why is it that we find it difficult to believe The irony is that it's not, I tell people, it's not only girls that are raped. Men go through it. It's just that the girl will get pregnant. That's why we shout. But the men, if they tell you some of them what they go through, they will do it. How do we get to make people believe that a father is abusing his child, a mother is abusing her son, and that siblings are sleeping with each other, or that people close to them are abusing them? Because the child tells you, say, shut up, get out, idiot. What is the matter with you? You don't know what you're saying. But the girl is telling you the truth. How do we get people to believe that?
For 15.
What I was want to say is starting with I still fellowship. Fellowship of so open mind. As this boy this boy has a problem. We all have this problem. What is it that is due to the administration that because he had this question, but there are some major mistakes affect his character that he's trying to change. But he has not. He has no. There's something that my friends actually call right for him. He will write a report tomorrow. He will be able to show tomorrow. So please help me advise this person. Because this person has told me that past 1.5 years now, he has tried to attend to more than twice. But just like the spirit of God that holds the back and form, help is waiting for you. And also, whenever it comes to that, I remind you this boy, the young people must say that, hold fast to the end. For a kind of hold fast unto the end, for a kind of like this for you. It's how we are like this for you.
Number 17. Number 18. Number 18. Okay, 17.
My question is what? Kind of they will not go to because many people with mental issues, they will not want to go to psychiatric hospital because many people have labeled psychiatric hospital as people as people are handled. So you get that thing where people with this kind of a problem, can also find apart from it.
18.
The person was not doing very well.
The person was sick. A lot of people have. The question is, what's our doctor to help us? It is not like we see somebody and you know that this person is going through depression and you know something can happen and that can friend you, you call, you get close. But one day, you now see like one of the problem that he or she has. So what do you do in such a situation? 19. Where is the 20? No, 19 and 20. What do you do?
To someone that is constantly trying to help to stop the addict of smoking, and it has gotten to the stage that
the hospital has recommended to go to psychiatric hospital. And shine away in the hospital to check up on himself. And what other ways of help can I do to assist him?
The last question.
This friend of mine, he doesn't like talking to people. The actor was like, it's fine. All right, come fine. So last week, so we don't tell anybody. He told me actually, he said he told God, my mom told me to come to shop. I was speaking, it's very bad. He said he told the senior sister. My senior sister did not bother to come. And then he chatted me on prospect and to die. I didn't realize once that guys, a lot of people miss him. Said people don't care about him. I said you don't know that. People don't call you, don't they don't care about you. You're just expected and people come and care. I said yes, but you're telling your problem. So I want to ask, what again can I get to make you calm down? Because it's not a bad person.
Thank you very much. I believe that we'll have to do justice to all the questions that have been asked. So you're ready? All right.
I think that the first thing that I want to do, can we have it quiet, please? Okay. I think that the first thing that I want to do is ask each and every one of you to please give yourselves a round of applause. About 2 Saturdays ago, I was invited to come and speak in a church. And it wasn't our church. And it was adults, elderly people. I think I spoke about parenting. And spoke about the failure of parenting. Because many parents fail. We must say it as it is. And many parents are still failing. Sometimes because they don't know any better. And so when it was question and answer time, nobody raised their hands. When we now offered that they should give them paper, before we knew what was happening, everywhere was full. So I thank you for the courage to want to ask questions, especially about a topic that people will otherwise keep quiet about. We've gotten a lot of questions about helping people. Let me tell you something. There's only so much that you can do sometimes. It hurts to know, but it's the truth. Even as a doctor, I can't help everybody. Jesus came. Could Jesus help everyone? Not everyone wanted to take his help. When you see people who are in a difficult place, you need to be careful about what you say to them. You see, the person who is in a difficult place is desperate. And so, if you tell them something like, I will always be there for you, what does that mean? It means that if I get up, they are there. If I sleep, you are there. If I jump, you are there. Gives them hope. And so you need to be careful about the utterances you make and the promises that you make as well. Instead of saying, I promise I will always be there for you, say instead, I will do my best to be there for you. And because you are human, you can fail. So that person understands that you also have limitations. I mean, I've been speaking here now. If you know how many calls are coming, doctor, can I see you today? It can't happen. I'm here. And even if I get home, I can't see the person. And so I've told them, the only way you can see me is on appointment basis. Let people trust you, but don't also take their trust for granted. You see, many people who come to meet us with their problems have had their trust broken by many people. Many other people like you and I who had told them, don't worry, I'll be there for you. Many years ago, when I was going to get married, I had one uncle. He said, don't worry, your entire wedding, I will cover it. He said, I will do everything. You just go to sleep. I didn't get anything from that uncle. Not because he died, but because he just did not do it. And so we must always remember that we are human and that we can fail. For the guilt that you feel about that person who eventually died, sis, I said for the guilt that you feel for that person who eventually died, you need to forgive yourself. I believe you did the best that you could. There are some relationships that you can't touch. I'll try and follow the questions sequentially. Somebody had asked about what we call impulsive suicides. I think it was you. So you see, some people will write notes and say, I am tired and I want it all to end. I have a patient like that. He said, I have 5,000 naira in my account, give it to this person. This pair of shoes, give it to this person. It was signing out. But some other people, it just comes as if something came upon them. And so we call those kind of suicides impulsive suicides. Impulse. You know, there's some people that whenever they go online, on Instagram, they'll just be shopping. That's impulse. You don't think before you do it. Some people, it's impulsive eating. Anything they see, they just want to eat. Some people have impulsive suicides. And most times, it comes from relationship problems or financial problems. Difficulties that all of a sudden you just look at yourself and say, is this me? You don't have time to process it. And you just take a decision without thinking. So impulsive suicides can happen. Somebody asked a question about the psychiatric hospital. First of all, what I want to change is let us change language. Let me tell you something. One of the worst illnesses that people don't want to have is a mental illness. Do you agree? Yes. Because imagine if someone stood in front here and just removed all their clothes. You will never forget. Or will you? Nobody prays to have a mental illness. No family member is happy that their family members have a mental illness. But you see, the people that have mental illnesses are people like you and me. They are people's fathers, mothers, children, brothers, and sisters. So let us be kind with our language. Instead of saying that that person is mad, Let us say that that person is mentally ill, or mentally unwell, or mentally imbalanced. Let's avoid using language like mad, crazy, skoin, weary, arrow, yaba left. Because when people need help, because of the things that we say, they will not go and get help. I've worked in psychiatry since for 11 years now. And every time I sit with a patient, I remember that this patient may be one patient, but in their family, this patient is very important. Do you understand what I'm saying? Everybody is important where they come from. I have worked with families where the mother is a patient, the daughter is a patient, the son is a patient. I've worked in families where the mother died, was a patient, the brother died, was a patient, and the sister is still alive. And you need to try to show them love. Because you may be the last hope that they have. So let us continue to remember them as our brother's keeper. I'm not saying that if you see somebody who is mentally sick on the road, you want to go and take care of them. It's not the smart thing to do. Even I will not do that. But when I have them under my care, I will take care of them. I have sat in offices before where a patient got up, removed their shoe, and threw it at me. I have been in places where a patient grabbed my hair and was dragging it. And I have been in places where a patient told me, "Doctor, I am hearing a voice telling me to slap that doctor, slap that doctor." But you still need to take care of them. Yes, it's what I signed up for. So how do you take care of them? Be alert. When I sit in an office with a patient and the patient is doing like this, "Doctor, listen to me." I will not listen. No. I'll say, "You know what? Let's give you injections, first of all, to calm you down. When you are better, I will talk to you." So you must be very sensitive. How do you know who to talk to? Be sure that people have your genuine interest at heart. Some people just want to listen to you for the sake of gists. You say, eh? So it happened to you too. And before you know it, they've carried it somewhere else. It's the reason why we encourage that you speak to a professional. You see, if anybody comes to my office, and I said this on Saturday, that I have sat with politicians, I have sat with celebrities, but you can't know who I have seen because I will not tell you their names. I will not even tell my husband who I have seen because I swore to protect my patients. Sometimes the best person to see is a professional. If my patient, any of my patients, finds out that I said something about them, they can sue me. But I will not carry their information and start saying, "Do you know this person? People have problems." Oh. Talk to people who are bound by an oath. And so you can talk to a doctor, you can talk to a lawyer, you can talk to your pastor. Spiritual causes of mental illness. You know, this is Africa. And with all the Nollywood we're always watching, you just see one woman in the market. Next thing, what do you see? She remove her womb. Next thing, she remove her food. And then what happens? She has become mentally ill. I am a scientist. However, I also read the Bible. And I know that there were cases where they talked about, you know, spiritual issues. But in this day and age, we always tell people, let us mix science with what? Spirituality. What has happened to a lot of my patients when they keep, they will take them to Orioke. I'm gonna be in Orioke on the mountain. They'll take them to Orioke. They'll tie them down, tie their hands, tie their legs. They will beat them. They will. What we have found is that what we could have solved in a month, sometimes treatments of 2 years may never solve it. And so instead of locking them up and saying it's spiritual, please get them medical help as well. The interesting thing about mental illness, even with treatment, is that some people will not even get better. And so what you owe yourself is that when I see something, let me quickly do something about it. A few years ago, I managed one boy, and I think I should say a story so that we know that people get well. The parents just called me. They heard me speaking on radio. And they said, our son, when I got to their house, they were like, are you the person we are waiting for? They said the boy will just stand in the middle of the night in front of the TV. The TV is not showing anything, and he'll be there. They'll be calling him, and then all of a sudden he will say, yes. Immediately, I knew what was wrong. And I told them, we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this. We started treatment. By the second day, the mother was calling me. She said, doctor, I don't know if it is real, but I'm beginning to see some changes. You see, by the time I met that guy, he had stopped going to school. When I met him and we started treatment, he went back to school. Today, he's a graduate and he has a job. Imagine what would have happened if they just kept him at home and said it's a spiritual problem. Even though I know that all these years they've been going round and round and round, but at least they took advice. Somebody said tough women. Why are women difficult? Why are they wicked? Why are men wicked? Your question. On Saturday in Oregon Church, I preached about the abuse of power. As human beings, we should be kind. And so many years ago, when I went to church, one of our churches, and I saw one young girl, the woman she was living with had decorated her body with marks, teeth marks, burn marks, beating marks. And this is me thinking, but this is a human being like you. We need to treat each other better. We need to show love to other people. Living here today, you must tell yourself that I want to be the person that other people can talk to. I want to be the person people can trust. I want to be the person who gives hope. A woman called me 2 weeks ago. I've been seeing her daughter for 4 years. She said, Dr. Monju, I just want to thank you. My daughter has finally graduated. Your help and your support, do the best you can when you can. If you notice a significant change in people's behavior, this person used to be very happy, now they're sad. They used to dress very well, now they're not dressing well. And that question came with parental influence. I'm reading a book now. The book is titled Emotional Inheritance. And what that book just says is that for everybody sitting here, including myself, we all have trauma in our families. Physical, emotional, psychological, neglect, sexual, all of us have trauma in our families. And you see, that trauma may have come from 3 generations ago. But if your parents did not heal from their own trauma, you owe yourself a responsibility to heal from your own trauma. I was talking to a parent this morning, and the father did something to upset her last week. And then he now beat her. The father was at fault. And I told the mother, I said, you need to be careful, otherwise you will lose your daughter. And what do I mean by losing the daughter? You see, the love that the daughter does not have at home, she's looking for it outside. And so she doesn't mind who the boy is, where the boy is from. As long as the boy just gives her a little attention, she's responding. Parents have a huge responsibility to each and every one of you. If your parents have failed you, I apologize on their behalf. Many parents will not change. Unfortunately, some of us will have to live with those parents. How can we then move forward? You will ask me. It's difficult. I mean, for instance, for the young lady who says that she doesn't live with her parents, but she's been battling depression. There is the love, attention, and affection that parents owe their children. But you see, what I said about trauma, if your parents have gone through trauma and they have not healed from their own trauma, what would they give you? Double trauma. And if you don't heal from your trauma, what will you give your own children? Triple trauma. Domestic violence in relationships. The lady will keep going back to the person who is beating her. And she will say, he's beating me. Why does he beat me? He loves me. He's beating me because he loves me. You know that many people believe that beating is a form of love, because when they were growing up, what did they see in their parents? The father was beating the mother, and the mother did not go anywhere. She sat down there. Maybe for the children. Today, I want to tell you, you deserve to be treated right. And if anybody does not treat you right, please leave. If you keep showing up as somebody who will keep taking beating, chopping beating, people will treat you that way. If you show people that you are a princess, people will treat you like a princess. The ones who can't stand you will walk away. But if you tell people that you are a doormat, people will step on you. The reason why that boy and that lady probably blended well was because they were coming from backgrounds of trauma. And so when you see somebody who, his father who used to beat his mother, oh, my mother who used to beat my father, we're bonding already. Unfortunately, we're bonding for the wrong reasons. Does public opinion aid suicide? Yes. What we've noticed is called the weather's effect. Every time there's a news on suicide, suicide rates go up. People are more likely to say they want to try suicide because they heard that somebody just died by suicide in the news. So it's called like a contagion. People catch on it. Depressive episodes. Who can you talk to? You should talk to me. Talk to a professional. You know, as I'm saying talk to me, I'm actually thinking about the load of work that I already have. And so when I say talk to me, even if I cannot attend to you, I will hand you over to somebody who will attend to you. Because I am one person. In Nigeria, We have less than 200 psychiatrists to 200 million people. So for every 1 million people, I am one person. I can't see everybody, or else I'll break down myself. So talk to me, take my number before I go, and we'll take the conversation from there. Low self-esteem. Low self-esteem happens because of what you hear or how you are treated. Imagine that there are 2 children, and the first child, the mother says, "You are a bastard. I hate you. I wish I never had you." The other child, the mother says, "I love you. You are not the best, but I will continue to support you." Which child will do better? Which child will do better? The second child. Unfortunately, sometimes you will not improve on your self-esteem because of what people say. You need to first of all put some value on yourself. You see, every day when I wake up and I say I look in the mirror and I tell myself I am beautiful, I don't need anybody else to validate me. For some people, it's different because all their lives, all they have heard is negative, 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 especially from the people who should show them the most love. If there's someone like that here today, again, I apologize for the failings. And I say to you that please love yourself first. If you don't love yourself, nobody else will love you. Look for a reason to love yourself. Suicide, undiagnosed mental health problems. The law, if you check online, you will see that psychiatrists are trying to tell the Lagos state government to decriminalize attempted suicide, to remove it from being an offense. Interestingly, even though it is a criminal offense, people are still doing it. Grief. You know, when you were telling that story, Adame came to mind. How many of you know Adame? Nigerian actress who just died. She lost like 6 members of her family. Then her daughter died. And she said that when her daughter died, what was she staying here for? You see, when people lose people, grief happens. And grief is normal. It's a normal response to a loss. You see, if I drove here today, and when we finished, I went outside and I did not see my car. I checked inside the gutter, I did not see my car. And the police cannot find my car. I will grieve after my car. If you have a pet, a dog, a cat, a dress, you know when you are ironing and you burn your dress, it doesn't end on that day, you keep thinking about it. Whenever you lose something special, you will grieve. You'll be sad. You'll be unhappy. But when you lose a loved one, there's nothing anybody can tell you. Nothing in this world prepares anybody for the loss of a loved one. Even if that loved one has been sick for 20 years, what are we praying? That they will get better. There's something we don't do in Nigeria. It's called grief therapy. What did I call it? Grief therapy. When you lose someone, you should talk to a therapist. I don't think Adame had that early. I heard that she had it later. But early on, when loss, it breaks your heart. Another loss. And after a while, you start thinking, why me? Whenever we lose something, you do jam and you don't pass, you will grieve. Talk to somebody. You applied for a promotion, you didn't get it, talk to somebody. You lose a loved one. And then there's something that we do around here. They'll say, that boy lost his mother and father. You know what they'll say? welcome to the club. People say it. It is very unkind, and it is what we should never be found saying. So please, when grief happens, get help for grief. Switching or swapping parents. I don't know about that one now. Maybe she can ask them to adopt her. The truth is, what you see there is a failure of parenting. For a child to look at their own parents and say these people are not good enough is a failure of parenting. There's clearly something going on in their home that they're not happy about and that they like in the other home. If the parents are wise, the parents should seek professional help and support. They need to know what they're not doing right so that they can win that child's love back again. Child abuse and parents not being aware. I'm answering your question, Ma. I mean, child abuse and parents not being aware. I'm answering your question. You see, it's so sad. If you have 10 females in my office, at least 8 of them have been abused. Somebody taught them inappropriately. Somebody showed them material that was not good for their age. Or somebody forcefully had sexual knowledge of them. The men, they don't say anything. In my practice, maybe I've only seen 2 men that agreed that they were abused. Abuse almost always happens with the people in your environment, in your home, in your church, in your school. Abuse can happen there. And one of the most painful things to a child, when a child tells a parent, "Mommy, this happened to me," one of the most painful things that a child feels is that the parents don't believe. When you don't believe that child, what you have done is that you have given power to the oppressor. I know many of my patients who told me that they reported to their mothers that the houseboy was sexually assaulting them. And the mother said, "Shut up, you don't know what you're saying." And for many years, the houseboys lived in their houses. Now, as adults, they have broken down. Child abuse is common. Child sexual abuse is very common. When it happens, it takes away the innocence of a child. Again, we need to do the 4 L's, learn about it. I had a patient once that told me that abuse happened in church. She came to church for a service, went to the toilet, and a man followed her into the toilet. It can happen anywhere, and it can happen to anybody at any age and to any gender. My belief is that as you have come to camp, that we will be raising a generation of men and women that are responsible and will not be caught with such vices. If you know anyone who is doing it, please speak up and tell them to stop. It destroys not just one person, it destroys an entire generation. Suicidal attempts. The more an individual attempts suicide, the more likely they will die by suicide. And so you see that your friend who has attempted it twice, if he has not gotten professional help, please get professional help. However, research has also shown that many people who die by suicide still saw their doctor a week before. The doctor asked them, "Are you thinking of ending your life?" What did they say? I once had a patient who killed himself. And one day he was talking to me, and he was like, I'm just tired of everything. And I was like, what do you mean? He said, no, not like suicide. A few months later, he killed himself. So we must pay attention and encourage them to get help. For people looking for help anywhere but the psychiatric hospital, there's nothing like that. You see, if you want to see me, I will not tell you that I am a psychologist. I will not tell you that I'm a pastor. I will tell you that I am a psychiatrist. I am not ashamed of the job that I do. A lot of my colleagues make fun of me. They say, you and your patients, one day you will look like your patients. So if they're making fun of the doctor, do you know how they're making fun of the patients? The fact that people and I can go on telly, on social media, on radio, to tell people to look for help is giving power to our patients. They need a voice, and I have decided to be a voice. There's nothing wrong with going to the psychiatric hospital. Stigma in Africa, yes, but we need to start changing that stigma. A few years ago, my mother went to Abeokuta, wanted to do something for me as Arrow. I had a program that I wanted to go and do in Arrow, and she had never been there before. So she stopped by the road and she said, sir, please, I'm going to, she was talking to a woman. She said, madam, please, I'm going to Arrow. Can you describe it to me? The woman said, I reject it. Arrow. May I not know about Arrow? See, if we want to be honest, every home here has somebody who has a psychiatric problem. And we just will not come out to say it. If you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, one of us will have a mental health problem at some point in our lives. It may not require admission, but we need to start facing reality. One day, somebody said they wanted to see me, and they wanted me to come to their house. I said, can they pay? If you can pay, I'll come. They said, the money is a little too much. I said, you know what? Come to my office. I will see you free of charge. But because it is a psychiatric hospital, the person did not come. It is better to get help early than to be the one that they will be tying down and trying to find how they will take the person to the psychiatric hospital. How do you help even when pushed away? Sometimes you may not be able to help. You will do your best. At present, I have a friend. When I call her, she doesn't pick up the phone. When I send her a message, she doesn't reply. How do you think I feel? Like a nuisance. But I know she needs the help. And so I will send her a message again and say that whenever you are ready to talk to me, I will be here. Persistence. Continue to do it. Even when you feel like this person does not deserve it. There have been times that people also did it for you when you were not deserving. So I'm missing something I can't see. Okay, so let me take some of the questions. I didn't realize that was about time. Is there anything government can do about sniper? They're trying. They're trying to put a ban on it. It's a pesticide, but they may not be able to do much. What should be done if you keep thinking that you are not good enough? My dear, you need to develop a healthy self-esteem. So I do some work on social media. My name on social media is Dr. Bonjubola Abiri on Instagram. You can look for me. I talked about self-esteem a few weeks ago. You can learn how to build a healthy self-esteem. See, even me, I'm still building my self-esteem. Nobody really arrives. We continue trying every day. I really don't know how to start. This person noticed the shyness and an inability to express self by a classmate. I feel like I have not done enough. Again, you need to understand that there's only so much that you can do. Do your best. Somebody says, I really do need help, please. If this is you, please see me on my way out. Ma, in a situation where I notice signs and symptoms of suicide in a friend, and he doesn't reach out or tell me, what do I do? Just like the first question. Establish a relationship of trust. Let them trust you. After they trust you, let them understand that what they are going through, you understand that it's a difficult place. But that it's also not something to be thinking about, that you want them to speak to someone. You need to do that for that individual. Get that individual to speak to someone. If I happen to be in a situation where I try to talk, but no one wants to listen to me or hear you out, somebody had spoken about this. There's no one to talk to. I think the young lady who spoke about being depressed that's spoken about it. There's something we call journaling. Writing out your thoughts. Writing out what you feel per time. Write it out. One day, you'll get someone who will listen to you. My dad is used to telling me that I murdered my mom to make me feel bad. What can I do to keep enduring this? Again, you may not be able to help your parents. You may not be able to help what they say out of their mouths. But you can decide how you respond to what is said to you. It's hard, especially when you live with these people. Emotions don't just happen. Emotions don't just happen. For an emotion to happen, there's something that we call a trigger. What did I call it? A trigger. And so, for instance, the trigger for you might be every time the father says, you're a bad child, you murdered your mother. But beyond what is said, or what is heard, or what you smell, or what you see, there's a way that you appraise it. Appraisal means how you look at it. How you look at it or how you make sense of it depends on two things: your past experiences or your current situation. And then when you hear these things, your heart may beat faster, your respiratory rate may become faster, things happen within your body before there's an emotion. Today, I want to leave us with this skill: how to be a ruler over your emotions. The first R says that you must recognize your emotions. What am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? What did this person say to me that made me feel this way? Number two, you must understand your emotions. I'm feeling sad because this person said I'm ugly. I know people can be nasty. You say all sorts of rubbish. Understand why you are feeling a certain way. The L is that you must label your emotions. This is what I am feeling. I am not sad, but I am angry. The E is that you must express your emotion in an appropriate manner. And so sometimes if somebody says something negative to you and you feel like eating them is not socially acceptable, what should you do? Walk away. The R says that you must regulate your emotions. See, a man who has no control of his emotions is like a city without walls. That's what the Bible says. It's as if you're giving your remote control to somebody else. That's why you press. People will be nasty to you. People will be unkind to you. but until you find your own voice. Let me round up with this story. Yes, my number. Let me round up with this story. One day, I got to work. I was wearing a green top. Are you listening? A black camisole and black trousers. And I wore green shoes. We're supposed to talk about stress today, but we can't talk about stress. But I'll tell you how I handled that stress on that day. And as I was about to enter emergency, it was at Yaba Psychiatric Hospital. As I was about to enter the emergency, one of my colleagues just saw me. She was like, now wow, how can you be wearing green shoes? And I looked at the shoes. I mean, it's like green today, and I decided to, and I looked at the shoes and I was like, these shoes are not bad. You know, I started questioning. And so I did my ruler. I recognized what she was trying to do. She was trying to make me feel bad. I understood that she was trying to make me feel bad. I labeled it. And when I was going to respond to her, you know what I said? I said I wore green shoes so that you can become green with envy. She laughed. I laughed. And I eased the tension. Many things could have happened. I could have gone back home to change those shoes. I could have gone into my car to say that, the shoes are not good. Let me wear slippers. I could have looked at the shoes and started doubting myself. But I used humor. See, when you make a joke out of yourself, nobody can make a joke out of you. When you put the spotlight on you, like, I ugly, what does anybody else want to say? You say you're ugly like a monkey. I know. You want to say anything else? I know. We don't live in a perfect world. We are not perfect people. But as we strive towards perfection in every day of our lives, our prayer and our hope is that we'll continue to journey with Christ, who is our hope, day in, day out, and every day. Thank you very much for being an amazing audience.
Please put your hands together for her. I think we can all agree to express our thanks well spent, and it was worth it. Just like she had said, pray that none of us here will be a victim of suicide in Jesus' name. All right, I want to, by Dr. Abibi's statement, I'm going to call our phone number out. Please, if you have okay, so please do not send her a voice call or a text message, or send her a WhatsApp. So I'm going to send you I'm calling our WhatsApp number now. Please, if you have a pen or you have your phone, you can write the number down. So if you have anything you want to discuss with her, you can go to our DM on the WhatsApp and send her a message. 081 745 69592. I'll take the number again. 081 745 69592. Dr. Abibi. All right, so very quickly, we are going to leave here very soon, and we'll all go to have our lunch and rest. When it's time for the next lecture, we'll definitely call you out
to come. However, you also agree with me that when somebody has given you something, it is also important we also give the person something. And for this reason, I'm going to invite Pastor Akiwande to please come forward. He wasn't told, please come forward. We want you to please present this to our facilitator on behalf of Lagos Mainland Conference.
Dr. Thank you so much for coming. I pray that Lord God will bless in the name of Jesus Christ. So, on behalf of Lagos Mainland Conference Youth, I present this to you in the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
All right, so I will also, I'm sure if that in our mind, we'll pray that we can also invite her for further lectures. Don't worry, I will try to also get down so that we can see how we create another menu for this kind of lecture. All right, so I am going to give us a little bit of information. Please, he will give you the information. Thank you.
Okay, please, we have some missing items. If you are in possession of it, kindly now return it to the platform committee. Missing phone, if it is evenings of it. You know you're with a phone that does not belong to you. Please, we beg you in the name of God, return it to us. Then two, please, if you were the person that was like a reminder me, as the youth director, gave his car keys and phones, please bring it to us. You gave it to someone, but you cannot remember who the person is. You know you cannot drive. Please bring the car key back to us on the phones. We'll all go now to have our lunch, and then we'll all return for the next program. Thank you. God bless you. You have not for 30 minutes, about 30 minutes for back here. 30 minutes. About 30 minutes for back here. 30 minutes. 30 minutes.